Hello students, yesterday we were discussing about the structure of atom unit 2 and I told you something about Michael Faraday and heavy storm has come and disturbed my teaching. Now let me continue with it, right? And Michael Faraday, why I said he was a genius. The main thing you have to understand the story of this great scientist. Michael Faraday was working as an assistant in a book binding shop. So he used to bind books and all. Suddenly one day when he was going through binding a book, he saw a wonderful book, science book written by Humphrey Davy. You might have heard about this name, Humphrey Davy. Okay, this Humphrey Davy is very famous for Davy's lamp. Okay, Davy's lamp that they use it in mining sector. When you go down to mining, that time Humphrey Davy's lamp is being used. So Michael Faraday, there's a small change in the spelling. Michael, E comes first and A comes later. Right. Michael Faraday, he went to Humphrey Davy and told him, I want to join as an assistant with you. Yes, and then he developed his own theories, Michael Faraday's, so let us say Faraday's law of electrolysis, Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Today we are using generator because the generator was also invented by Michael Faraday. That's why we have to call him a genius, a great genius. Right. In 1940, these things were happening and I said to you, that there is a cathode ray, there is a tube here and the electrons are coming from the cathode and they didn't know what are those particles actually. They called this as simply cathode rays. And now what did they do? They coated with a fluorescent, okay, fluorescent. And one more word is also there, phosphorescent. Okay, phosphorescent. This material also, any material can be coated. As I said to you about a tube light, you find that coating is being there. So that produces a sparks there. From the spark we can identify that there is some unknown invisible rays are striking the other part of the glass tube. Okay, that led further thinking and in 1895, 1994, during this time, J.J. Thomson came with another idea. Okay, the same thing which I am going to erase it now. Yeah, we are going to continue with the discovery of electron. Okay, discovery of electron. How did they find that? That's what going to be this video is going to discuss in detail on different stages of development in the process of discovering an electron. Okay. So what did J.J. Thomson, these names you should remember, J.J. Thomson, great scientist, they are all Thomson. Okay. He is known in his circle as J.J. Okay, J.J. Thomson. What J.J. Thomson did, same the tube, he converted a little bit like this, right? Yet again glass tube. Instead of closing it here, he made it in this shape like this. You can think it is somewhere we have seen it, it's a TV tube. This is nothing but cathode ray tube, it's nothing but our TV tube. In olden days, TV tube used to have a outer thing like this. Nowadays you got flat screen, LED, LCD, all these are all development. But basic is the CRT, cathode ray tube. This is the basic cathode ray tube. Now what did this have? It had an element here. This is a heating element and this is connected to a low voltage, low tension battery we say. Now let me off the fan. Yes. Now from here, this filament, in front of this filament, they kept a material which we call it as cathode. Now when this battery heats up, Thermionic emission. Thermionic. Heat. Thermal means heat. Thermionic emission. Emission means emission of particle or whatever the rays we can say. Emission. Okay. Now, what will happen? It will heat up this cathode. When it heats up the cathode, you know, now cathode rays are produced. These cathode rays will go in all directions. But we need to narrow it down like a laser. We need to collimate it. We use the word collimate it. Collimated into a narrow beam. How can we do this? By using anode blocks. Blocks of anode. When you keep an anode block, naturally what will happen? The cathode rays, the negative charges will come towards anode. Some of them will get attracted, no problem, but majority of them will go very fast because their speeds are close to the speed of light. Okay, so I am going to connect two cathode anodes so that it becomes very narrow strip which we are say let us have only one at this present. Later I will introduce another one is enough for now. Okay, so now this is coming through this and naturally it will happen, it will come and strike the screen. The screen is coated with the zinc sulfide. It's a fluorescent screen. Okay, this is a screen. Okay, now it's going to come and hit it. Now this has been connected to high tension battery, that is around 1000 volt, and I am saying that is called high tension battery. Cathode is negative, okay, so anode is positive. Let it be like this. Now it is coming and striking like this. Yes, this is same thing like Michael Faraday's cathode ray tube. Now what is going to be difference in this? What did J.J. Thomson do? What J.J. Thomson did was, he introduced electric field. How can you introduce electric field? You know there is a charge, positive charge. Surrounding the positive charge there is a field. Let us say there is a negative charge. Surrounding the negative charge there is a field. You have a magnet. Surrounding the magnet northern pole there is a magnetic field. Now earth is there. Surrounding the earth there is gravitational field. Like that, electric field is there. We are going to place a plate, okay, and this plate I am going to make it positive. I will connect it to positive terminal, and here I will keep another plate, right, and this is one plate and this is another plate. I am going to connect this to negative, right. See, you have to connect it like this, na? That I cannot show you behind. You can imagine that it has been connected. One is to positive, one is to negative. Now, when they connected electric field like this, in this part when it is been, the electrons were coming, okay, and they found that the electrons are going up like this, striking up like this. So why is it going up? Electrons, again I should not use the word electron, still it was not known by the name electron. The cathode rays were going and striking this part and sparkling here. Okay, you can see that it is giving a sparkling, right? Now, suppose if I interchange, I make this positive and this I make it negative, what will happen? They found the electron is coming and striking this side and again sparkle is produced. So they understood. The cathode rays are affected by the electric field. The first point you should remember, the cathode rays are affected by electric field. That is the first one. They are invisible, but they are showing the characteristic. Fan, you run it, the air we cannot see, but we can see the effect of it. We feel cool little, right? Oh, that is how they find that the property. Yes, it's invisible, but it is showing the characteristic of going towards the positive. So the cathode rays ought to be negative because they are moving towards positive. You know the law of attraction repulsion. Like charges repel, unlike charges attract. So negative is attracting positive. Then he was not happy. He wants to do some more experimentation. So what he did, instead of electric field, he removed the electric field area from here and he placed a magnetic field. Magnetic field. How you put a magnetic field? Let us say North Pole here and South Pole here. When they did this, North Pole is equivalent to positive and South Pole is equivalent to negative, right? Later you will understand all this much better. So it was again deviating towards the North Pole, and when you interchange it, it is again coming towards only North Pole. So the second point you should know, cathode rays are affected by magnetic field also. It is affected by electric and magnetic field, which means it has a charge. It has a charge. So what J.J. Thomson did, he tried to calculate the E by M ratio. Let me erase this because it becomes too congested. Thermionic emission, heat, J.J. Thomson. This is Thomson's experiment we are talking about, and cathode ray tube we are talking about. Yes, this much we can keep it. Okay. So what this is Thomson's experiment actually. So he concluded the rays which are coming are having negative charge, that is negative charge. Okay. So he started calling that as electron. See, electrons are negatively charged particle. Now you have to think, John Dalton said atom is indivisible. Now Thomson in 1896 he says atom is divisible. But what? It's only negative charge it got and it is having positive charge. But they still didn't know about this positive charge. Yes, you should be very clear about it. So electron. So what he did is he tried to calculate the charge E by M ratio. E by M ratio means charge to mass ratio. Charge to mass. He could not calculate electronic charge directly. It was not possible. So what he could do was, he could only find out the electron mass, the electron charge to mass ratio, and he found it to be 1.788. Just one second, let me check the value exactly. 1.588 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. Coulomb charge, kg mass. He found that the value is thought to be 1.7. So I will say 1.8 also you can keep it, no problem. To remember easily, 1.8 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. So this is what J.J. Thomson's experiment was about. Okay. Now that doesn't mean that others are also doing experiment. There came another person who was a student of J.J. Thomson. He was R.A. Millikan. What Millikan did? Millikan continued with his teacher's concept of E by M. He used the E by M value and he did a wonderful experiment. Yeah, that experiment again, all these are really, they are all Nobel Prize winners. So their works are extremely, appreciable. Our knowledge on all these things are because of these great visionaries. Okay. So let me explain it. How did he do and what did he do? He found the electronic charge by E by M ratio. How he did this? This is called, first let me write the name of the person, R.A. Millikan. This is Millikan's experiment, oil drop experiment. We call it oil drop experiment. Okay. Now what is this Millikan's oil drop experiment is about? He took a plate. Again let me draw it a straight line. Okay. Let me draw. Yes. He took two plates. The gap between the two plates are close to 1.3 centimeter. And he put a small hole in this. And he kept a small atomizer here. Through this, he dropped the oil. The charged oil. The oil drop is there. Due to friction, it gets charged. and that oil drop due to gravity is falling down and coming through this hole. Now we say it is charged. Now I am going to connect this to positive terminal and this to negative terminal. Right? I am going to connect this to positive and negative terminals like this. When you connect it like this, what happened? The positive, this is something is coming down, down, down. The drop is coming in between and it comes till here. He knows the distance. And using a microscope, right, a sharp microscope, he studied the time of travel. How much time it takes between, you see, 1.3 centimeter distance, and he is watching the, what you will say, the drop falling, and the drop is falling. He is finding out what is the time, because distance upon time will give him speed. And also remember, he can calculate charge using a different equation. See, mg is, it is allowing it to fall down, right? And electronic charge, this QE is the force. Yeah, from this we can calculate. Electric field is known, QE. I will explain it to you when you come in 12th standard. Electric field can be written as force upon charge. mg is weight of the body which is falling down. He found the time between these two. What a classic work. He did not do one time. He did it for thousands and 10,000 times he calculated. Now, when it comes down, it's fine. Yes, it is negatively charged, it is coming here. And this is negative. When it comes here, what he did, first he took this, see, positive. So, let can take this as, he interchanged it now. Right? Now this is coming with a charge, let us say excess charge is electron in this, let us say. Now we can interchange it, negative and positive. First it is coming down, positive is there, it is attracting, gravity is also attracting. Now if I interchange this as positive and this as negative, this charge will start moving up. Usually, you will find that the charge which is coming here atoms are there. Free electrons will be there somewhere, ions due to that. This drop will carry some electrons, extra electrons. When it carries extra electron, it will become negatively charged. Negatively charged, when it comes close, first to positive it will be, then this will become positive. When this becomes a positive, naturally it will pass through that. When it passes through that, when it comes here, what will happen? This will become negative and this will become positive, again it will start moving up. He calculated to come down how much it is time taking, because while coming down it is also adding up mg, but while going up it is going to be minus mg. So using all these calculations, very complex, you know, in olden days in 12th standard we had this chapter, right? And now it has been removed, all these things, Millikan's oil drop experiment, J.J. Thomson's experiment. Now it has been shifted to chemistry just to introduce you, that's all. Okay, so using this oil drop experiment, he calculated the electronic charge and E by M ratio. He used these two things. He calculated the electronic charge to be 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb. What a great discovery. Think of it, right? Now he says that any body which is having charged body should have only charges in terms of electronic charge. That means 1.6 into 10 power, or this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this many electrons can be added. Right, and each electron is having 1.6 into, so they are all integral multiple of what? The electronic charge. So the total charge of the body is integral multiple of the charge, where n is 1, 2, 3, 4 plus or minus. If it is removed the electron, then this will become positive. If you added the electron, it becomes a negative. So this is what you have to understand. By this oil drop experiment, he calculated the electronic charge, and J.J. Thomson had already calculated the E by M value, which we took it 1.7588. Okay, this value to be 1.7588 into 10 power 11 coulomb per kg. Yes. Now E by m when I substitute it, what will happen? E upon E by m. This will give me E gets cancelled, m mass of the electron. They calculated the mass of the electron is equal to 9.1 into 10 power minus 31 kg. Minus 31 kg. What a such a small amount. You have to keep this in mind. I hope you understand now. Okay. This is not so much for you to study about. Now you just get it an introduction to this, right, and get an idea that how the starting of atom began with being indivisible and became divisible, and after being divisible only electron was found, and electron was found discovered by J.J. Thomson and his student R.A. Millikan. He calculated the electronic charge, then from which the ratio between these two, then they calculated the mass of the electron. This is only a small first part of the structure of atom, the study of structure of atom. Dear students, I want to tell you one thing very clearly. I am referring only to your chemistry textbook of NCERT, and you can already first chapter has been taught to you. I have started from second chapter. Okay, in second chapter, unit 2, that is the unit 2, page number 30, you can read 30, start from 29, 30, 31, you can see this cathode ray tube, the TV tube, then you can read about it. Okay, then you come here, Millikan's oil drop experiment is given, and next slowly and steadily we will move to the structure of atom, J.J. Thomson's atom model, and then Rutherford's atom model, and then Bohr's atom model. Okay, we will go slow and steady one by one. Kindly purchase this chemistry book, right, and whatever, this has been beautifully explained in your textbook. I hope you will study well. Thank you so much.